Speaking of stunning episodes,
The Bad Batch
finale.
series finale, not season finale, series
Oh,
finale.
rumored to be Clone Wars finale.
Yes. Just wow.
Honestly, before we get into the episode details, this, if it is the final installment of anything Clone Wars, anything of the Clone Wars animated era, I am more than okay with how this ended. It was such a great kind of tie-off point to that whole story of the Clone Wars.
We got what I wanted, but didn't think we could get.
Yes, you got what I've got. This as a note. I was like, Connor's been saying this for weeks, that it just won't make sense if Omega's alive, because she'd be in the rebellion, and they gave us. That's why. See, this is why I think
all we're proving is time and time and again that we
know what we're doing.
Yeah, we could do this job.
This is another reason why I think this might be actually the end of the Clone Wars era, because I saw some people being like, "Oh my god, Omega spin-off," and I'm like, I don't think so. The time jump to then have it be the rebellion's going on.
The rebellion's known enough that she's like, they need pilots.
Yeah. Having that, and we're jumping right to the end of the episode, but I don't care. But that closing moment felt like such a great closure point for it all. Because we've been invested in these characters now for 3 seasons. And to have it be that we've got old Hunter, Omega's older, which is it looked wild visually, because we're so used to her just being young. And that her making that whole point of no, you guys fought for me to have my freedom and make my own choices. This is my choice to now fight my fight, which is what you said she would do. And I'm so glad they chose to do that.
So am I. I would much rather that than anyone die.
See, I also thought we were going to have... there was one point where I genuinely thought they were all going to die. All 3 of them.
Intense. Just on your counterpoint to this being the end, just to play a little bit of a devil's avocado.
Okay, avocado.
Can you just remind me quickly what the culmination of episode 5 is?
I mean...
Is Luke getting his hand cut off?
Yeah.
Can you remind me what the culmination of episode 2 is? At the beginning of the Clone Wars is Anakin getting his hand cut off. Who else got the hand cut off?
Crosshair.
Maybe this is just the second installment in the Clone Wars arc.
No.
But that you could then just argue that Rebels is the end of the arc, and it's just been done in chronological order. But,
yeah, I think I still don't get me wrong. If they're oh, we're gonna do a Rex arc to close things out, that's the only bit of the story that I feel like we haven't had full closure on, because he wasn't there, which I'm disappointed he didn't show up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe that. I don't think we get an Omega spin-off.
I'd be surprised.
I think they wanted it to be that, look, we realize, yes, she would have joined the rebellion. Look, this is what she went and did. Know that she was there. Not necessarily in the films, but know she was there in that time doing her part. Whether she survived through it all or not, we'll leave that.
You're not taking this from me. She's a fucking war hero, goddammit.
I think that's where they leave. I think for her story, that is the right way to end it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there was I genuinely thought Wrecker was dead.
Yes, you know my feelings.
Yeah, we've talked about it for the past 3 weeks. He's been on the edge. I'm
perilously concerned about Wrecker this entire season.
So when he's already limping, and then he's just taking shots and tanking stuff, and it's just he's getting weaker and weaker. It was just...
The episode starts with them going, "Are you okay to make it?" And he'll be like, "I'll get there, don't worry." I'm like, my brother in Christ, you know, this man is just literally going to take all this damage all episode, and he's gonna get Omega on the ship safe and just collapse and not come back.
I genuinely thought Wrecker was dead. The point when they're all like, no, we go in together. We're not like they wouldn't let Crosshair go on his own.
Yeah,
I think if Crosshair, like, obviously they didn't do this, but if Crosshair had gone on his own, he was dead.
absolutely.
But that, yeah, like the them all getting captured in such a like full on defeat way, like they just got stomped essentially, and it was like, I thought in that moment Wrecker was dead, Hunter was going to be captured, and then obviously we saw Crosshair get his hand cut off, which I think is just like a weird full circle moment for his handshaking. It's just like he couldn't get past it. They just cut away the problem,
Yeah,
which almost then got him past it.
It's one of them ones where it's a Star Wars thing, so someone has to lose a hand. It's just like an unwritten thing here. It's one of the things that makes Star Wars feels like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you're right. It then becomes a full circle moment. He's been struggling with his hand in his aim all season. He gets his hand cut off, which allows him to make the shot when he needs to.
Yeah.
Like it's very much symbolic of that. Wrecker, when they broke out of their chambers.
Yeah, and he went full ape.
Just I'm throwing, and here's the thing: I was like, okay, we're about to get revealed that one of these are Echo, and then he would just throw them headfirst into another thing that would explode, and I'm like, maybe not.
Oh yeah. Like I'm a part of me is disappointed we didn't get this tech reveal.
Yeah, sorry, Tech Knight.
Yeah. But I guess like I don't actually think they intentionally.
It's just internet fans being internet fans.
Yeah, we latch on to any possibility of our.
We did the same thing in Ahsoka, didn't we? With the dude.
Yeah, we did. I think what actually those assassins were supposed to be, off their visual language of their shapes, and it is 100%. I think the idea was it was meant to be Hemlock had issues with the Bad Batch, and then essentially tried to create his version to mirror them to defeat them.
Yeah.
Because they all like somewhat mirrored each of the other.
What I'm really curious to know about is at what point did Project Necromancer get picked back up? Because obviously Governor Tarkin shut it all down at the end of this episode.
I think,
and I hope we find out more about this Project Stardust.
I am so glad that they like used that. So we've talked about the whole time through this. We know they need to tie up this whole Palpatine story and like, tie it in and explain things and how it got mothballed. I think they did that sort of how I expected them to, with the facility getting essentially destroyed.
Yeah.
The choice to have it be that the data all got destroyed. So smart. Also in that moment, Rampart and I forgot what the Camoan Nala say. Rampart was the one that shut down the Camoan facility and obviously blew it all up. So it was like this weird revenge, like almost full circle moment for them two, to which she in a way gets her own revenge because she just blows him up and blows up the data. But yeah, Governor Tarkin showing up and being like, the fact he's in charge of all the funds to then go, oh, I'm mothballing this because I don't know anything about what was being done here. I'm going to take the funds for my project, and name dropping Project Stardust, which we know from Rogue One is the Death Star.
I mean, even if we didn't know from Rogue One, you could probably
piece
it together.
Obviously.
Just like Project Necromancer gives away so much information.
We also got in this episode where Emery calls it, mentions Project Necromancer, and finally Echo goes, well, that doesn't sound very good.
Yeah.
We finally got someone to address the fact that it's called Project Necromancer.
It was a very good episode that covered a lot of like, not plot holes, but kind of open plot bits that don't need to be closed. But it was like, we'll just add a bit of context here so that you get your own idea of what's happened.
Because it's told us now it got mothballed, all the data's lost, which means realistically the only person that knows what was going on there is Omega, Emery, and then Emperor Palpatine.
Which explains also why they need Grogu.
Yes. So
They've lost all of them samples and all of
I
that data.
so on your point of like how does it get picked back up? I think it's going off what we've seen through Mando and the fact that it was Moff Gideon. I think some point after when he like bombed Mandalore and was in that position of power, he's obviously either through the Emperor coming to him and talking to him about it, or he's discovered there was this Project Necromancer.
I imagine it was sometime after episode 4, because obviously Tarkin died on the first Death Star, didn't he?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah, so
imagine
possibly
whoever
in
got
that,
put back in charge then maybe rebooted it.
possibly, or the Emperor kind of
Yeah.
at some point it's got like fed into someone to be like, look, there's this project. And essentially they've had to start from scratch again without the Camoans, obviously no knowledge about Omega and all that. And yeah, kind of get to the same point where they realize, oh, they need a young, heavily force sensitive child. And then obviously Grogu fully fits that bill and becomes a
But
prize.
is it any wonder the Empire only lasted for 19 years when, for their most important project, they don't have off-site storage of data that's that important?
They have no off-site storage for data. They leave air vents in wrong places.
Like, ladies and gentlemen, everyone knows if you've got data you care about, you have it saved locally, you have it
But
backed up locally, and then you have it at a third off-site location. That is good data storage if it's something you really,
but this
really
just
care
sums
about.
up the Empire, right? They're too essentially cocky that they don't believe.
Yeah, no one could take
Like
down our
like
site.
Hemlock was like, he said to Rampart, "Oh, I'm indispensable. This is all under control. Like they're playing right into my hand." But it's the people like Rampart and stuff that then throw spanners in the works that they don't expect, and it actually destroys what was
Yeah.
theirs.
Bearing in mind how large the Empire was, only ruling for 19 years is
Mm,
fucking laughable.
yeah,
Like,
it is. It
what?
is
Ugh,
crazy.
it's craziness. Phenomenal finale, though. It was so nice to see the batch get a happy ending. I didn't think we were going to get
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's the thing.
Nice.
It's like I was not. Although we talked for many weeks, we were like, someone's dying. We're not gonna get like a full happy ending. I am kind of glad we did.
And yes, and it was done in a way that makes sense as well. I don't feel like they've copped out.
No.
Because I said the only way it makes sense is if they all go back to that island, but I don't see that working because Omega joined the rebellion. And they were
Mm.
like, yeah, that's exactly what she did. Well done. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
she
cool.
grew up a bit and was like, "Look, I'm old enough to go do my own thing now."
Yeah. And I'm like, and once I saw that she was getting ready to go join the rebellion, when she said Hunter was like, the rebels are calling for more pilots,
Mm.
I was like, okay, yeah, cool. No, that is exactly what Omega would do.
Yeah, 100%.
So I have negative issue with any of their decisions made, and I'm just. It sucks that the show's over, but my god,
Mm.
was it a ride?
Yeah, and it's like for us who have watched the animated Clone Wars through it all, Rebels, this like it's such feels like such an end of an era, but at the same time,
Majorly.
like I'm excited now that they can kind of this is all leading to them wanting to get away from the Skywalker saga,
Yes.
and I'm like excited for the possibility of an animated Star Wars show in a whole new timeline.
Yes.
Like, what if we get like a same vibe of animation style, but it's like full Sith era or something? Like, we could get some really cool projects now. Um,
We're not
though,
far away from the Acolyte, which is the
yeah,
next Star Wars project. Skeleton Crew.
yes,
Andor season 2 will be early next year, I believe.
I think
But
so.
there's not any officially confirmed animated
Other than
projects
Tales of
currently
the
in the
Empire,
works, other than Tales of the Empire, which is
yeah,
coming out in 2 days.
yeah,
But that's an anthology series. That's very, very different.
yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting to see if they're done with animation, even though I'd say it's been their most consistent quality-wise style of product for the last
It
10 years.
I don't think they abandon animation. You can have so much fun with the Force and those sorts of things in animation that you can't in other mediums. So
I completely agree.
there'll be
Um,
more.